Yes, look at that. We're live. Welcome in. It is Gold Boys, Odd Shopper, Eli, Eytan. James is here producing. You're with us. We'll tell you about a lot of stuff going on throughout our day here as far as what we have going down from bets and maybe something that went down last night. Anything great, anything not so great. And then, we'll slide in a little look at the Odd Shopper tool. We're here on Thursday because of me, so don't blame anybody else. I'll take the hit, right? And let me preempt Eli before he slams me to the canvas for ruining his day on Wednesday. What's up, my brother?
What's up, man? Glad to be here. Thursday kind of works out. We got Thursday night football, decent
do.
NBA slate tonight. Usually Thursday's a lighter NBA load, but with the Christmas and everything, there's plenty of action tonight. So Thursday's fine.
Absolutely, man. I don't have a problem with Thursday. Thursday kind of like begins our work week, if you will. Monday kind of ends it. Tuesday, Wednesday is our weekend. And now, as you mentioned, and not to say that we don't bet Tuesday, Wednesday, we bet everything. So there's always stuff going on. Speaking of betting everything, right? I need to ask, like, how you doing? How's life? All of that. But I'm in a live sweat right now. I'm trying to take advantage. There's this little narrative that we have, right, in college bowls, and that's earlier. So this game is already underway, and SMU does have the ball. I'm on points here with BC. But Eli, SMU, outside of, like, you saw what happened with Liberty, they got placed in this big bowl. SMU got dropped, right? If you're following college or you're not following college, don't worry about it. That's inconsequential here. But the point is that this is one of those times where you have a team that just doesn't want to be in a bowl. They just don't want to be in Fenway Park right now playing lowly home team BC in a baseball park of all places. So I jumped on the points.
And Fenway, like, ugh.
Yeah, Fenway is like a place you go to check off a list of baseball parks. It's not a place you would go to play a football game.
Yeah.
Maybe a hockey game.
Yeah. I mean, it's like the worst park in baseball. And then you're playing football in it. So it's like, why?
Wait a second. Is that your bias?
Yeah.
Is that your
100%. 100%.
Because look, I'm in Philly. I grew up in New York, right? Like I have every tool equipped with me to hate Boston, and I don't like Boston, right? I don't. But it's hard to ignore. Like that's a beautiful place.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah.
Fenway,
Whatever.
Faneuil Hall.
Yeah.
Now that's it. That's as far as I'm going to go. I'm not saying Boston's a beautiful place. I'm just saying that the baseball. But I just wanted to double check it was your bias there.
Yeah. Big Yankee fan. So.
Right. I figured as much. Right. What happened? Like, what was it like for you to see Johnny Damon? I'm trying to think of guys who played.
I love Johnny Damon. Yeah. So I don't know. Like, I like to talk trash more than I actually hate the Red Sox. Like, there's been a lot of Red Sox players that I've enjoyed watching. Like, I loved watching Dustin Pedroia. I played second base in Little League, so I just really enjoyed watching him play baseball. And Johnny Damon was another guy, even with the Red Sox, that like he's just a fun loving dude. Fun to watch play. Then he comes to the Yankees, and it was even more fun.
Well, yeah, you got it on the other end, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Red Sox fans are thinking, "Oh, this guy goes to New York." You didn't have nobody of consequence was super involved with the Yankees and then flipped, right? That I'm thinking.
Not really, that I can think of. No.
Okay.
Not that I can think of.
So you got lucky.
Yeah.
Red Sox fans probably hate Johnny Damon. And then he goes and plays in Tampa, right? So figure that one out. All right. We got Thursday night football. We'll look at the NBA here. You all right, man? You were saying that your back's banged up here. You all hopped up on perks for the show, or
we're good. We're good. Yeah, my back is I've always had the back of like a 60, 70-year-old. I got some back issues right now, but we're gonna power through.
All good, man. I got a knee issue. I tried to chase my son around, and he fell, and I had to go down like awkwardly to try to catch him. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I've been out of shape for a little bit and worked it to where maybe I got lucky, but I'm out of shape and I haven't hurt myself. And now I did try to chase my kid. Unbelievable. All right, Thursday night football, man. We've got this line and just checking anything has moved on Odd Shopper. Place you can go, of course, to get everything there. I can get Cleveland at 7. All right. So Bet Rivers does have Cleveland still at 7. The line has moved 7.5 pretty much if you like the Jets there. let me just start the Joe Flacco revenge. Let me pluck the easy part out here. The Joe Flacco revenge narrative. Look, I get it that it's Trevor Siemian. The Jets offense is atrocious. I wouldn't lay 7.5, but I'm still okay laying 7 here. I don't know if you have anything on the side or total, but I would probably actually be more inclined to go over this total, as crazy as that sounds, than lay something on the side. 34.5.
Yeah, something I mentioned. I'm not a big side and totals guy, but something I mentioned to Jerry on our show last night is it seems like that's a very low total for that large of a spread. Just like the simple gambling math, you know what I mean? Like 7 points, and then that I think the total was even a little bit lower last night, but 34.5. Like that's there's not a lot of room in the total for there to be that big of a spread. So I think if I do like the Browns at 7, and I kind of feel like I'm with you there. If you like the Browns at 7, you kind of also by nature like the over 34.5. Am I wrong with that line of thinking?
No, I think you're right. I do they correlate in the sense of like you're going to bet both? Because for me, I'd probably just go over, I think 34. And again, 34.5 is out there to go under, but I think I'd rather go over 34 than lay 7. I mean, it's still the second highest key number. Games still find a way to fall on 7. Crazy shit, Thursday night, short week, all that stuff, right?
Yeah, I would agree. And also, as old as like you could see the Jets defense scoring for him. I know that offense is bad, but you could see the Jets defense scoring for him tonight. So I don't think over 34 is crazy at all. It just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me why with a spread that high at a touchdown or more, and then a total that's less than 5 touchdowns. It's kind of weird.
No, I get that. I get that. Look, I think it was at 6. Was this ever at 6? I saw 6.5 for a while. But even still, teams lined at 6.5 aren't covering more than 50% anyway. So that's not necessarily a break. I think I'm good here going over 34. Again, we found that you can check that out. We'll show you a little bit more on Odd Shopper. If you haven't hit the thumbs up button, make sure you subscribe here over at Gold Boys as well. Make sure you're subscribed, thumbed up, and following at DJ and Eli at Shander Show here. So, all right, I know you got some props. I know you're looking at stuff individually. I really only have one that jumped out. I don't know if you love slop, crazy shit like bad games like this.
I do.
And you find the gem in a pile of shit, but I'm sure there's at least something out there from a solo standpoint.
There is. So I've been big on Njoku. I pretty much bet David Njoku touchdown. I think all 4 weeks that Joe Flacco has been the starting quarterback of the Cleveland Browns. He's just like a different guy out there. So prior to Joe Flacco, I think he had two touchdowns on the season. He's got 4 touchdowns in 4 games with him. And the Jets defense on paper looks really solid, but when you kind of dig into the position matchups, they've allowed the 3rd most touchdowns in all of football to the tight end position, trailing only the Rams and the Broncos. So they've allowed 9 touchdowns to tight ends this season. I think a couple of 2 touchdown games in there as well. On the season, the Jets' red zone defense has been really, really good, among the best in the league, allowing a touchdown like 30% of drives that get in the red zone. Last 3 weeks, that's jumped up to 54%, which is in the worst half of defenses. So it's starting to falter a little bit. The Jets defense, that is. So I am on David Njoku to score a touchdown at plus 190. ESPN bet, and I am also on David Njoku to score 2 touchdowns at plus 1,500 on Bet Rivers.
Wow, that's strong right there. 16, by the way, on FanDuel. What did you say?
15? Oh, is it? It must have moved then. I took it at 1,500, I believe. Looks like maybe
you got the best price on the anytime though, 190, because it's 185 on FanDuel. So 1 and 2. I love that little 2 TD ladder here. He has nearly as many TDs from Flacco as the rest of the receiver / tight end crew combined, right? I mean, that's insane.
6,
when you look at
also leading the team in those weeks in red zone targets with 6, maybe tied with Amari Cooper, but just been a red zone, kind of the red zone threat for Joe Flacco. And listen, feel how you want about Joe Flacco. He hasn't looked bad back there. He's got maybe the best set of weapons I mean, one of the best sets of weapons he's had in his whole career, I think, with Njoku, Amari Cooper. You know, so yeah, he's looked good. I like it.
All right. Shout out to Joey B on the chat. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Joey said Eli equals the lead singer guitarist of Goose.
Never heard of him or that band. Rick
Mida Rotunda?
Mida Rotunda, yeah.
Is that right? Rick Mida Rotunda? Now, like, I know Joey. So Joey's like a good guy. He's got a big heart. He's out in Denver. He's probably stoned off his gorge right now. So if anything, he means this as a term of endearment. Are you looking at the picture?
Yeah, it's not
Let's see your hair. How does your hair match up?
Oh, the hair is bad. So this guy has like long hair. That's the
Don't
I
you?
need a haircut so bad.
Yeah, but
he's got like a flow. You know what I mean? I've got a I need a haircut.
Wait a second. Here's my question: would Rick Mitaronda look like you do now if he got up in the morning to do a YouTube betting show? Like, would he have to have? That's what I mean. So maybe Joey's onto something.
Yeah, could be.
Okay.
Can you look into the 1 point rebound, assist, steal, block? Ooh,
that's Josh James.
Yeah, that's interesting. I have looked at that. I think people don't realize. So Josh is asking about that on FanDuel, how you can bet a player to get at least 1 point rebound, assist, steal, and block in a game. I think people. I don't think people understand. It's kind of that's a pretty hard thing to do, and I don't think it happens very often. You would look at centers mostly for that, and the odds. I think the odds reflect that.
Right. Because I would hope so. Because if they're like super low and you're just betting thinking, oh yeah, well, guy's going to score a point, the block and the steal. So you're basically playing big men who can get a steal or taller guards who might be able to, but even that's tough, right?
Yeah, like Halliburton is plus 250. I don't know about
is this something you're building manually, by the way?
No, it's on the popular page of each NBA game in FanDuel. Before we get there, is there anything else we need to clean up with football? I'm happy to do that.
No. All good, brother. All good. I am as well. Yeah, I think and I was just looking over at what you have to add to this to see what I can get here from a passing standpoint. It's dipped 2 points, but it's 2 yards, pardon me. But I'm going to go under Simeon 175.5 passing yards. I know we talked about over here. The Jets, Breece Hall clearly is going to be a major factor touching the football, but it's hard to look at what Cleveland has done on the defensive side of the ball, especially from a pass defense, and think that it's not going to be harder for Simeon. Simeon's start last week against Washington, I think he needed to throw the ball 60 times or whatever, and I'm exaggerating just a little bit, but he threw the ball a shit ton just to barely get over 200 yards, trying to match up on, like, the one thing that I feel like I can control in this game, Eli, from a betting standpoint, which is, famous last words, but just from a building a process standpoint, is Cleveland's defense. Like, that's Myles the Garrett. One kind, right?
Myles Garrett.
The Jets defense, I'm sorry?
Myles Garrett's an alien.
Oh, Garrett, right.
That's all I'm saying, yeah.
Pressure on Simeon. Look, who knows if Simeon even finishes this game. So I think going under 175.5 is still fine there. That's plus 401 and Njoku anytime TD and Simeon under 175.5.
You can throw the. I just have the. I think we both like the over in this game. I really like that Simeon under too, and with a negative correlation there, those are two negative money lines, minus 105 and minus 110. If you same game parlay them, it's up to plus 305, and then you could throw in anytime touchdown too. Even probably get a big number. I like that a lot. So Njoku touchdown, Simeon under, and then over 34.5 is plus 814.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think I might do that.
I think we should do this. I mean, we're not going to have much Thursday night football left here, but we can easily just go right there, 3 legs, build that sucker. And you're right, the negative correlation. Like, there are so many ways from defense to rushing in which this game hits over 34.5 and Trevor Simeon stays below that number and then Njoku is part of it. Like, absolutely. I think this is fantastic here. All right, plus 814. Let's roll that there. I'm going to bet that. You on board or you just...
I'm in, yeah.
Okay. Anything else this on Thursday night? Look, I think, we can circle back before we get out of here on the NFL because it is Thursday. But anything else that you have on Thursday night? I think I'm pretty much done, and I'm going to roll my solo in this same game parlay here. All right, let's go to the NBA. You've piqued my interest here, okay? Because 1 point, rebound, assist, block, and steal. I'm on the Detroit. Like Cade Cunningham is plus 360 here. I imagine that's reflecting the fact block and steal is going to be an issue, right? Bogdanovich, I'm looking in Detroit and Boston. Why? I don't know. It's the first game that we have on the schedule here. Do you play this market? Because I'm new to this market.
I haven't yet. I've seen a couple of people on it. Okay. It's definitely really interesting. I haven't dug into it yet. But yeah, I mean, I look at a guy like, Killian Hayes at plus 440 is kind of interesting. I don't think he's that good at basketball, but I think he could realistically get one of those, one of all of those.
That's what we need. Somebody who's like marginally good at basketball who can sneak by here.
You know what's really interesting is, and this is going to be a play for me once we have lines for it. I don't know if you want to go there yet or not, but I don't see why any reason that Andre Drummond doesn't have like 30 or 40 rebounds tonight against the Pacers. But dang, he's only plus 180. They don't even have a rebound line for him on FanDuel yet, but he's only plus 186 to get a point, rebound, assist, block, and steal. That's interesting.
Wow.
Cade hits it pretty often. Apparently, according to NJC, yeah, I would think so. I mean, his usage is really, really high.
Yeah.
Block and steal
think about that.
A tough part, except for maybe with big guys, the assist might be a little bit tougher too.
Embiid, I would think definitely. Like, because I wonder, and shout out to NJC because that makes a lot of sense with Cunningham, and at 360, you would think maybe that's beginning to be appealing. I don't know what the plus EV number is for Cunningham getting 1-1-1-1-1 across the board here, but if it's somebody who is hitting, I wonder where his number began to where it's all the way down at 360. He's clearly going to be out there the entire game, even if they are getting spanked at times or most of it, which we see. Al Horford double-double. All right, well, let's get back to that in a second, though. But here's the thing, and NJC said it as far as Embiid, like Jokic, I imagine is going to be watered down.
Right.
But the two guys that I'd be interested in looking at would be Embiid and Valanciunas.
Yeah.
So let's look at that. Sixers off tonight, right? So do we have New Orleans is in effect tonight, right? Yes, they host the Jazz. All right, I'm curious on this one.
Jokic is plus 142. I actually expected that to be lower.
What's his triple-double? Because if it's right around the same, wouldn't you rather play triple-double?
I think so.
Probably watered down a little bit. Valanciunas is plus 240 to hit this. That's not, again, like, I don't know how often guys that are, plus 730, like Colin Sexton, are hitting this shit. And if you see people hitting it, it's probably, they're probably down exponentially, betting that's just the last guy available here. But
Easton, that's my little brother saying DeMar against the Pacers tonight. That might be a good look too. Plus 220. It's interesting.
Yeah. So you know what I love about that too is just targeting high totals, fast games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
DeMar 220, as you mentioned in that game. I think that's. Could you run a parlay here? I know. Like, I can't help myself, but
how often does he do it?
That's the thing too. Like, I was looking at Killian Hayes, and it's been 1, 2, 3. It's been 6 full games. He hasn't done this in 7 games, but he's done it. He did it 7 games ago.
DeMar did it. Hasn't done it in a couple games, but did go 3 straight against the Heat, the Sixers, and then the Lakers, and then has not done it in a 3 games since. One time he just missed it by a steal. Last 2 he's missed it just by a block. I think he gets a block tonight. And I think, yeah, I might play DeMar. Good call, Easton.
Okay.
Look at NJC. Just knows all the hit rates of this obscure market.
Yeah, seriously. Like, what algorithm? What have you built over there, NJC, that you aren't sharing? Embiid's going to be around even money. Oof. That's tough. If Jokic has a better return right there.
Jokic is plus 142 for the 1+, and then he's plus 140 for a triple-double. So I think I would rather take triple-double.
Yep, I would as well. So DeMar at 220. This is, it would take a little bit more. This is totally on the fly here, but I'm curious. Like, I'm intrigued a lot about
the
this
market.
Yeah. Because it's an interesting stat. And again, there's no way that the majority of these aren't minus EV. But if you can find something like this, and again, if you're NJC and you're going crazy as a mug on this shit and you're betting and you're able to track and see some hit rates, I'm sure you can find some wiggle room here. Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
7 of his last 9 for Valanciunas.
Whew.
You want to know what that parlay is, by the way?
Sure.
With Valanciunas plus 988 for DeMar and Valanciunas to each have a point, rebound, assist, block, and steal. Not bad.
That is not bad.
All right, what do you have in the NBA tonight, my friend?
So I'm probably gonna take whatever. I feel like they're gonna price Andre Drummond rebounds accordingly against the Pacers tonight. It looks like he's gonna be starting at the center spot. I haven't seen a straight line for it. Oh, okay, we do have lines. Oh my God.
I saw 15.5 rebounds. Is that right?
17.5 is plus 125.
You can get 16.5
minus 105. Yeah.
On DK, right? Or
I've seen MGM or DraftKings.
Yeah, actually, you're right. It's across the board. Fanatics, MGM, PointsBet, ESPN, and
man,
DK.
That's a big number. I thought it was going to be lower than that. I was ready to take it like what regardless of what it was. I didn't expect it to be 16.5. That's a really big number. But I feel like he could easily get 20.
Well, that's what I was asking about to at least is
yeah.
Again, how many minutes are you looking at tonight from Andre Drummond, let's say? By the way, you can't even go higher than 14
looks like
right
it's
now.
He's not on FanDuel yet.
He's not on FanDuel.
Once he's on FanDuel, I feel like they'll let us play 20. I probably wouldn't play 16.5 straight, but 20 at if the number is big enough, I might play 20.
I can't believe we can't get. By the way, you have any interest in the 16.5 for Detroit?
The spread?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I see 17 on FanDuel, and honestly, no.
FanDuel 17 still, even better.
Yeah.
I don't see Drummond here in PA. Do you?
I just saw him on one of my apps.
Here we go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Here we go. Okay, so you don't want any part of that 17. I feel like you have to just take. You just have to take these spreads. No, I mean, think about it. I get it. Like, there isn't much logic into saying that Detroit's going to cover a 17-point spread outside of Boston is playing a basketball game December 28th against a team that is bare. Like, I saw the Sixers up front. I watched that team that barely won 10 games, right? And it was one of the worst products I've seen. And we did have conversations about, did the top team in the nation in like Kentucky, I forget who it was at the time, but I think that at least coming out, could they at least handle the Sixers, right? Or stick with the Sixers? And for the first time, I think in the merger of pro and college sports, you actually had somewhat of a conversation like that. This team might be worse, Eli.
Yeah, this is going to go down as one of the worst performing basketball teams of all time, and it's kind of a shame because I think there's more talent on this team than that would reflect. I feel like I'm really high on Cade Cunningham. I'm really high on Cade. I think he's going to be I think he's a hell ball player right now, and I think he's only going to get better. Tatum and Brown both questionable. I think they're going to sit both of them. Because you can't at this point, as much as the Pistons want to break this streak, you can't be the team that lets them do it. You know what I mean?
Though. Hold on a second. I think that's actually a really fascinating conversation.
Yeah.
Right? Because the NBA, look, let's look at this real quick, big picture. The NBA has come down, at least they've done their best effort to come down on load management, on guys missing games. So it's not as easy as it was just through last year to just sit out, right? But you still need, these guys still want to miss games. This is clearly a game in which Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown would much rather miss than play, right? I get that. Do you think this is where it gets interesting and fascinating to me that you bring this up, man, is do you think the proposed or perceived level of embarrassment of being that team is worth playing in a meaningless basketball game at the end of December?
We can't say what players are thinking, but it would matter to me. Like if I'm on the Celtics and I'm, a lot of people's favorite to win an NBA title this year, like you can't be the team that let the Pistons break the winless streak against. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it would be like if you and Jerry did like 15 straight shows together and all you wanted was just a fucking break, man. Just like, give me a break from this guy. And you had a show scheduled at 3 a.m. Sunday morning. That was like your 16th show in a row. But, in the backdrop, Gold Boys, like, Nick and JC, Gold, they're all like, dude, if you do this 16th show, that'll be nobody's done 16 days in a row of shows. Like, we'll put your name up on the Gold Boys site and give you this big plaque and everything. There's something there, but at the same time, wouldn't you just take that break? Like, isn't it just a necessary break you would want to take?
But like, how much do these guys really need a break? Actually, you know what I mean? You don't need to rest. Professional athletes, this is what you do for a living.
Look, man, I'm telling you,
and beat the Pistons.
I'm happy to go
30.
down with this ship. This is but okay, but you're right. This is what you do for a living. But we see big lines, we see teams, nothing better than the NFL, where it's just like, oh man, you've been told all week you already won this game. All right, let's look at this. Let's take the Pistons at 17. You give me a guy, and I already saw on the chat, I think it was, well, he's not even up there. Boston guys aren't even up there outside of Tatum. I was going to say, I would take the 17 and then same game parlay that with somebody on Boston not named Tatum and Brown, expecting that these guys somebody would just launch tonight.
Pritchard.
Somebody would take on, right?
Pritchard.
It's Pritchard?
Yeah.
It's not Derek White.
Could be Derek White, but if it's a 30-point game, I guess if it's a 30-point game, you've already lost. So yeah, it probably would need to be Derek White, because if it's it would have to be a blowout, I think, for Pritchard to go wild, and Derek White's going to play the fourth quarter if it's close.
Okay. I want to hit something on OddsShopper before we get out of here, man. I know we've got some people still filing in, so thank you. Hit that thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed here. Make sure you hit the thumbs up button here. You head on over to Gold Boys and do the exact same. See, look at that. Fat Batty, Al Horford, Eddie Anderson, D. White going for 30. Horford, 12-10 from the Fat Batty. Fatty the Batty. See? Look at that. I'm telling you. 17. You tell me what a same game parlay would be for Derek White going over his point total. And again, it's not up there yet, but 17 for Detroit and Derek White going over his point total. You're telling me that you have absolutely no interest in that at all tonight, Eli?
Yeah, it would probably be in the plus 300s, I would guess, assuming they're both, around, minus 105, minus 110. Because you would get some negative correlation there, I expect. So I think it'd be like plus 350-ish. And yeah, that's interesting.
Another bad penalty, by the way, for SMU. They're down 3-0. They can't get out of their own area. This is good vibes right now. Good vibes.
Real quick, I do have one more NBA look before we
let's do
the
it.
Site. This is almost becoming a system play for me, but Colin Sexton, I'm kind of just high on him. Like, I think he's a much better player than the Utah Jazz think he is for some reason. Like, had to have a slew of injuries to make the starting lineup, and as a starter he's averaging almost 23 points, and you're giving me a line of 17 and a half, looks like, which as a starter he's only missed one time, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 games. So I'm probably going to play 17 and a half for Colin Sexton, and I'll probably also do something with 20, maybe 25 as well.
20,
it's just a little disrespect. It's just kind of disrespectful to me. Like, he's he's a very proficient scorer. Like he can absolutely score the basketball. Defense, whatever.
It's fine. They don't care about that right now.
Yeah.
Give it up. I mean, they're rolling too.
He
Right?
can get
3 straight
to the
wins.
rim. Yeah. I just think he's a really talented talented guy who can score the basketball, and 17.5 is a disrespectful number for him.
Yeah, I like that. Only dropped that once, really. I mean, my goodness, if you look at it, December 8th was the last time he went under that number outside of Saturday.
And against Toronto, who
Right.
is a pretty solid defensive team, and the matchup tonight isn't great across the board, but the pretty much the only position that the Pelicans have been weak to is the shooting guard. Like point guard, that I've got him at 30th most, 21st for small forward, 10th for power forward and center, but they're allowing 6 most points to point guards by my metrics. So that's kind of where the only position they're kind of weak to. So I just think 17.5 is too low.
Man, that Toronto game, lowest minutes that we saw over that stretch too, where he only played 25 minutes. And again, the 4 minutes difference between that game against Toronto and San Antonio, where he was also shooting the ball significantly better. And look, just to close down the point, I love this play, by the way, and I think 20 absolutely should be in reach here for a guy who's going to have the volume. If he's shooting the ball as well as we've seen that at least last game, and that can carry over, that might be an early start there. Let me throw one more out here, and James, we can check Odd Shopper out whenever you're ready too, because I had to actually look over on this to see if there was still anything plus EV on it. Shout out to our guy Lindy here. He was the first one to really identify this move by Pop. But Jeremy Sochan, right, playing the point guard right now is probably not ideal for. And you've got Trey on the team too. So is this Pop like trying to get fired and get a buyout? I don't know what this is here. Becky Hammond ready to take over? Like, what's going on?
I don't know, but the one time they started someone else at point guard, I took notice of that, and I bet Devin Vassell points, because there's a big jump in his points with Sochan off, and then of course they start him that night. They throw him back in there. So I haven't bet on a Spurs player since, to be honest with you. It's really just a kind of a head shaker. Like, everybody's kind of there's a consensus that it doesn't work. It does look like Branham is expected to start maybe a point guard tonight, but I don't know, man. I don't know. This is a bad team.
It's a terrible team. 4.5 assists, minus 130 at either DK Bet Rivers. Jump on ESPN Bet has it as well. Jump on that. We've got a link below where you can sign up on the site for these books specifically through Gold Boys and us too. So you can jump on that if you don't have one of these mentioned books. But DK throughout, you've got 4 or 5 different books that you can do that. That would be mine that I would throw under 4.5 assists for Sochan. I just don't think that he can get to that, especially if he's not playing the point where he won't even have that much passing volume. So that's one I would throw in there. I'm just curious to see if we can, what the site says, and maybe we can have a little fun with the parlay builder if you want. What do you want to do? Do you want to just look at we'll get out of here in a minute. So your call here, dealer's choice. Do you want to look at a couple of the plus EV bets that we have?
I think we should kind of give an intro to the tool a little bit if this is anybody's first time seeing it. So like if you're coming to what do you check first? Probably the plus EV area, right? So kind of just maybe take us through that a little bit.
Yeah, well, I'm a degenerate, so the first thing I do is I go to the parlay builder and I limit 3 legs to it. No, but this is all about just identifying bets that beat the market. And as you've heard Eli and myself mention, where you find the best price, we are all about finding the best price. We're about finding the best price for Jeremy Sochan rebounds, as we are for just across the board game sides and totals. So if you go, let's go to the positive EV bets, because I do think that's the best place to start overall. And you're just looking at everything that we have, right? So, the beauty of it, give it a sec. It might take a sec here. Maybe the site's down, which would be perfect timing right now, of course. All right, it should load back up. By the way, Colin Sexton rebounds is our top play across the board. Try to refresh it real quick, James, if you can. I don't know. Sometimes it's just, maybe it's the connection or something. I'm on here, so I don't know why it wouldn't either. But I'm seeing Colin Sexton over 2.5 rebounds at minus 115. You can get that on 365 or PointsBet. Now, you just talked about the points right
Mhm.
there, but that also allows us to try just refreshing the page itself. I don't know what the hell's going on here, but let me just at least throw that one out there for you at least. What do you think, Eli?
Oh yeah. Sorry, I was trying to figure out what was going on.
Oh, that's gone. That's gone. That's now dipped. We lost it.
Sexton rebounds. I've looked at that a couple times too. Yeah, I mean that's another low number. If you're getting 2.5 somewhere, that's kind of crazy.
Well, it's gone. 2.5 is now minus 120.
Yeah, I still like it. I still like the 20 points.
Yep. Let's try this, James. Just try to refresh the entire page and don't worry about the NBA or player props. Let's just start there from the top because mine's working and I don't know why yours isn't, especially since you're logged in. No, you're fine. You're fine. It should, all these bets should just pop in. So I don't know. We can go back to just the two of us.
Yeah. Maybe we'll
try Colin Sexton right there. It's hilarious.
He's not showing up either. Well, maybe work this out.
Is there a connection issue that you think could be going on? Because are you seeing it on yours, like on your personal?
Oh, you're in Florida.
Oh, that's why you're in Florida.
Yeah, change that to like Indiana or something.
Or go to PA or Jersey. There we go. Hey, there we go. Beautiful, beautiful. All right, now Sexton is back up at minus 115. So in the time in which we were just doing that, Colin Sexton over 2.5 rebounds started at minus 110, moved to minus 120, and now is back at minus 115. That's how fast this stuff works. So let's just look here. And this is great, James. You can leave the screen as is because what state are you in, by the way, so I can get to your state? No. Illinois.
Illinois. Yeah.
Okay, so now if you just hit refresh, you'll see Colin Sexton is gone again, or more bets have popped up on top of, you'll just have to go back to the state. That's fine. So more bets now have popped up. See, John Collins is here. So this is how fast this stuff moves by all means. Anything jump out to you? Here's what I can tell you. Just seeing our data and knowing our data that's come back from it. Rebounds and three-pointers pretty much on any of our books are returning the most positive ROI. So if you're using the Odd Shopper Plus EV tool, you're using the Parlay Builder, I'll leave you with this nice little gem here. The rebounds and threes. We just hit one on the Discord from this tool last night there when we went under 3.5 threes for Dame and under, it was somebody's rebounds. Raptors. Siakam, I think, 8.5 rebounds there. Is there anything that jumps out to you here, my friend? And by the way, that's over or under. It doesn't matter. It's just the prop itself. Just wanted to
that Miles Turner under looks a little interesting to me. I think there's a very real chance he gets in foul trouble against Drummond and or whoever the Bulls have out there. But under 7.5 for Miles Turner is definitely tempting, especially at plus 100.
I was going to say, you get that even money here. I've been trying to do that. Limit juice and just going off like, all right, even money like that Caruso under 1.5 threes for Alex Caruso. There's volatility here. He's averaging 1.2. So this month, at least, he's played 9 games this month. 4 of those games, he's gone over this number. Do you think you're getting a number that would reflect? I mean, again, the tool is telling you it's beating the market. Do you have any interest in that? I'm going to bet both. I'm going to bet the Miles Turner and I'm going to bet Caruso under 1.5.
Yeah, because I mean the only thing the Pacers do well defensively is run people off the 3-point line. So yeah, I mean you could see a world where he only attempts 1 or 2 or threes tonight. So yeah, that they throw him in the same game with Andre Drummond 20 rebounds.
All right, we got a jet, man. Real quick, at DJ and Eli, at Chandra Show. Thanks to James. We got to get James out of Florida. Now, the weather would tell you no, right? But man, when are you going to be able to legally place a wager in that state? Of all states, like you would think Florida would be like, no, come on down.
Hard Rock is there finally.
But that's it, right? Like that's the only one. Look at that. Eli, by the way, Joey B, that pick behind you.
My John Prine poster?
Yeah, your John Prine poster.
Yeah. Big John Prine fan. Yeah, big John Prine fan.
There you go. See, I told you, man. Joey B, I knew the two of you would get along. Absolutely. Look, we appreciate everybody. Again, hit the thumbs up button. Make sure you're subscribed here. Get on over to Gold Boys, their YouTube channel. Do the same. Subscribe to that channel. Go ahead, catch Eli. Now, you and Jerry are on daily, right?
Wednesday, Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern, and then Sunday at 11:30 a.m. Eastern.
All right. And then we'll be back Wednesday, 11 a.m. to look at a bunch more stuff here. Remember, you got a lot of good things here. That same game parlay for tonight, if I can, just one more time, because I think this is the one here. This is like the show play, right? At the end of the day, we should have a show play and just recap, the one we like. My favorite that we've done so far today is Njoku anytime, Simeon under 175.5 pass, and over 34.5 total. Good?
Love it.
All right. That's it for me, brother. Anything else you got to say?
No, thanks for watching.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.